SHAQUEM, Griffin, and the Knights linebacking core will have their hands full today against Auburn. It'll be the final game as a Knight for SHAQUEM. He's one of the most inspirational stories in college football and really sports in general. SHAQUEM lost his left hand as a child, but he has not let that keep him from becoming one of the most decorated players in UCF history. Last year, Griffin was named the AAC's Defensive Player of the Year, and then as a senior, he garnered All-American honors. No one is prouder of SHAQUEM than his twin brother SHAQUILL, but the sport they grew up playing together, the sport of football, separated the twins in 2017. SHAQUILL was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in April, so they've spent the last 7 months 3,000 miles apart. But it was also football that brought them back together last month in Jacksonville. SHAQUEM and SHAQUILL Griffin, born just 60 seconds apart, back together on a football field.
Oh man, it was a fun time. I mean, he was able to get a room for me in the same area as them, and I was able to meet all the guys and the coaches, and you know they're just so loving. And it's fun to be around an atmosphere like that.
SHAQUILL and his Seattle Seahawks teammates were in Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. So SHAQUEM, along with countless friends and family, made the trip to Everbank Field.
You know, being so far away, you know, it's something that you still got to try to get used to. But, you know, getting a chance to come back and seeing them smile and get a chance to talk and actually get a chance to play for them in person, you know, instead of over the TV, you know, it's awesome.
Griffin had 3 tackles and a pass breakup, but the Jaguars held off the visiting Seahawks 30-24.
I hate the way the game went, but, you know, if I got to find something to be positive about, you know, I'm happy my family came to watch me play.
Even though there were 3,000 miles separating the Griffin twins this year, SHAQUILL talks with his brother on the phone every day, and he's been glued to the TV for the Knights' undefeated run.
I'm so proud of UCF and that staff, and I'm so happy for, you know, Scott Frost and what he did and what he helped, you know, build. But they had an awesome and incredible season.
His brother played a large part in that incredible season. SHAQUEM once again led the Knights on defense with 5.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception.
Griffin's got it, coming the other way. His big day continues.
After the season, SHAQUEM was named an All-American and also nominated as a finalist for the Jason Witten Man of the Year Award, given out every year to a player who exhibits exceptional courage, integrity, and sportsmanship both on and off the field. He's been an inspiration for so many really around the world. Is he an inspiration to you?
Oh yeah, every day. You know, since we was younger, you know, to see the things that he accomplished and did, you know, it makes me feel even better, you know, to be a part of that. You know, and he encouraged me every day, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, having any doubt or feeling sorry for myself. You know, it's kind of hard to, you know, see the things he overcome, and, you know, he's a role model to me every single day.
Now, SHAQUEM is expected to join SHAQUILL in the NFL. Most draft experts believe he will be selected during the 3rd day of April's NFL Draft. Following last year's 0-12 season, many UCF players said it was the toughest thing they've ever had to go through. For some perspective, they may want to look to their teammate RORY Coleman, an Army vet and Purple Heart recipient. Sergeant RORY Coleman's scars serve as a daily reminder of his journey from the gridiron to the battlefield, back to the gridiron.
You can love this game, and this game can be a vehicle to do the things you want to do, but you have to have a foundation as a human being first. You can't just put that off to the side and say, I'll get to it later.
That advice came from Coleman's grandfather, Bill Coleman, an Army veteran who parachuted into France on D-Day. So after Rory's final game at Lake Brantley, he decided to follow in his grandfather's footsteps and enrolled in the Army as a medic.
I wanted to help other people. I didn't necessarily want to, like I said, do the fighting. Yeah. And, I played offensive line in high school, so I was already in that mindset, protect the quarterback. And for me, that kind of translated in protect the guy to my left and my right. Little
did Coleman know the soldier he would have to protect was himself. 2 weeks before wrapping up a year-long deployment in Afghanistan, his counter-IED platoon ran into trouble.
We had been fighting for a good bit of the later in the day, and we'd kind of pushed these guys back, and there'd been a lull in the action, but we actually stumbled upon their hiding spot, which was in a basement. So there was about 3 of them in the basement, and then 1 came running out, and then he had dropped the grenade next to him. It went off, and I was just laying on the ground like, okay, I'm okay. And I go to sit up, I can't. I go to lean over, push off with my hand, I can't. And I said, oh boy, I might be in trouble. And then that's when the blood started coming down from my forehead, and I said, all right, I'm definitely in trouble.
With major injuries all over his body, Coleman walked a fellow soldier through the process of treating his wounds.
It's literally from head to toe. So there's metal in the left big toe, all down the left foot, cracked the kneecap in half right here, and then the tibia. I got chunks out of the right thigh, fractured the femur, hit the stomach, which punctured some intestines, and hit the bicep, hit the shoulder, fractured the right ring finger, shredded up my right forearm right here. I did take one little piece to the head, and that's where it caused my epidural brain bleed.
Coleman spent 9 days in an induced coma and eventually moved to San Antonio to begin a long, grueling recovery process.
Definitely the most, mentally draining, because you don't know, you're going to recover. You've got the greatest facilities in the world at your disposal to get better through the people that were working there, to the equipment they were using, to the techniques they were using. It was all, best of the best. And so you knew that these people were here to help, but you just didn't know how far you're going to go until the recovery was done.
It took Coleman nearly a year to learn how to walk again, but he never lost his desire to return to football. And earlier this year, after enrolling at UCF, Coleman attended an open tryout in front of the Knights' new coaching staff.
He was one that stood out, just mostly on size and athletic ability and things like that. And then kind of started getting to talk to him, learn a little bit of his background, and you really blew your socks off. Hey, here's a guy that's been through so much and done so much for our country already, and he wants to come out here and work with these guys.
Coach Frost, he brought me on board, and I can't be more grateful that he provided me this opportunity. So I'm going to take this opportunity, I'm going to run with it, and do my best to make this team, and make these guys better as a whole.
Leadership and maturity isn't the only thing Coleman brought to the UCF football team. The last thing the Knights do before they leave the locker room and head to the field is a ritual that Coleman has brought with him from the Army.
When you yell from the deepest part of you and you're screaming as loud as you can, your body has a natural reaction, but to release some endorphins, and it gets you just fired up and mentally focused.
Following last Saturday's battle cry, Scott Frost selected Coleman to lead the team onto the field in a celebration of Veterans Day.
What an incredible experience it is, here at UCF to, go run out with that flag and lead these awesome guys onto the field.
Coleman has appeared in one game this year, and in that game picked up his first collegiate tackle. Off the field, he's currently majoring in psychology and told me he hopes to continue serving our country in the future as part of a federal agency.